What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the HardHeadz podcast, where we care about the artist. We bring in real artists to real spaces to talk about real things, the good, the bad, the ugly. Today, we have GRAVEDGR.
Yo.
Hey, what's going on, man?
It's not much, man. Just here, blessed, alive, well.
That's good. That's good.
Having a good time with good people.
I think a lot of people are very, very curious, interested to hear your story.
I mean, what's there to tell, bro? It's pretty straightforward.
You know, you're going to tell me.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, well, what's good, Sean?
Man, I'm chilling, you know.
HEKLER in the house.
Yeah, what's good, everybody? Your boy, HEKLER. Dude, how's everything been? It's been a few weeks since we last spoke, like on this podcast.
True.
What you got been going on?
Well, shit, man. Honestly, this year is like a big pivoting point for me as a person. Like,
Okay.
I think, you know, in 2020 to 2021, going into finishing off last year, I was in a weird state of mind. I think we all were, you know?
Oh, yeah, 100%, bro.
But I think me in specific, like, I was worrying too much about other people, you know?
Yeah,
and
for sure.
it was just toxic, you know? Like, by default, you can already tell how toxic that can get.
Yeah, 100%,
because you start worrying about other people, what they're doing, whether it's their social media, whether it's their music, whether it's their touring, the amount of touring they do, and then like you start losing sight of what's important, which is honestly just you and the people that you're around, type of stuff, you know?
Yeah,
it shouldn't be about what everyone else is doing, you know, because there's so much noise in this industry, in the scene, in life in general. It's just, if you pay attention to it, bro, like, you're just gonna lose yourself. And I felt like I was losing myself. And summer of last year, I actually took upon myself, took a break, and moved to Mexico.
Okay.
For 2 months in Cancun, Mexico. Moved with some good friends of mine, and I was living there to really just reset, bro, and then kind of like think about what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? I definitely think it was like a big moment for me as like a person, you know. And I think it's important for a lot of people, a lot of artists, to do that, because, you know, your mental health is way more important than your fucking 3,000 likes on Instagram, than your 100,000, 300,000 streams on SoundCloud, and it's way more important than your upcoming festivals, bro.
Yeah, these kids gotta take care of themselves, you know?
Yeah, if you don't take care of yourself, are you gonna make it to that? You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, it's literally, the bottom line is just, I wanted to focus on myself and just become like a better person for me and, you know, everyone around me, but mainly for myself, because if I'm doing it for other people, there's no point.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? Yeah,
and removing yourself from that whole situation, from the industry, from, you know, the surroundings that you're familiar with. I think that's a really good, you know, practice to practice, you know, because you're removing all of the outside influence. So it's really good because you can really hone in on what you're about, what you're really feeling. And even if it comes to music, I don't know if you worked on music in that time off, but you don't have any outside influence coming in, so you can really figure out who you are, what your brand is about, what your sound, where is it going, you know? It's good to get all the outside noise out. So I'm happy that you did that, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, dude, best decision I've ever done in my life, man. And to anybody, it's like an open invitation. Like, I remember when I was planning it and I was telling a few people, they're like, damn, 2 months? And I'm like, dude, like, over quarantine, we were all in our rooms for over 2 years or over a year, and looking at the same 4 fucking corners. That shit gets to you, bro. Like, it really does. And I was in denial for a long time, and it's safe to say, man, like, I'll admit it, I was for sure like a form of depressed, you know. I was making music and I was going nowhere, I felt, you know, because I was just focusing, like I said, on everything else. And I just needed a disconnect. And going back to what I was saying, like, when I was telling people that it was 2 months, they were saying it's a very long vacation. I always would tell them, like, hey, man, whatever you need, whether it's a week and that's what you need, whether it's a month, whether it's 2 months, whether it's fucking half a year, man, you know what I mean? Like, fuck,
take what you need.
Take what you need, bro, because everybody goes at your own pace. You know?
Bro. That's a huge thing in this industry. Like, kids think that all of us are going a million miles an hour at all times. But if you're doing that, you're gonna burn out quick. Like you're gonna burn out quick. But my question for you is like, what was the defining moment that made you decide I have to take this time off and I need to focus on myself personally? Because there's a lot of people that they don't have either the courage or their teams are in their ears like, you have to be working 24/7. Like what gave you the courage to take that time off? Because you know, I also did the same thing a few years ago. You know,
I think, I mean, it was an accumulation. It wasn't like one day. It wasn't one day I woke up and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. Yes, but that wasn't I don't think that was the defining moment, because you know, I just made the decision to do it, right? But okay. I think it was just a buildup of you know, having a fallout with in the past with old management, having a fallout with like just things that were out of my control and everything, and it was just me like not seeing progress where I wanted to, comparing myself to others. And I think it was probably when I started seeing myself going on social media every fucking day and looking at everybody else's socials, comparing
yourself,
right? The number game.
I fell into the numbers game, man, and it sucks to admit, because I kind of pride myself, and I'm like, I don't let little shit like that affect me, because let's be honest, numbers don't mean anything.
It's all
you know what I'm saying?
Anywhere.
Yeah, and I think it was when I was like, bro, I would get on, I would look at people's Instagrams, artists, and it would upset me, man. And I was weak, you know. And
I feel you.
You know,
I feel you.
And I was just like, bro, like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing this? And then I think one of the best things that Instagram implemented was hide the like count. Why? Because now, like a little mental therapy of what I do, instead of posting and looking at my likes, I'll post it, hide the like count, and I focus on quality content and not care about like, I'm not going to be defeated where if I took all this time on a fucking video or a post and it gets like a 1,000 likes or 400 likes or whatever the case may be. You know how algorithms are.
Happened to me recently.
Yeah, like I've even told you about it. Like, dude, hide the like count,
I was gonna say, I started hiding my likes. I go on there, it says so and so and others.
I'm like,
all right, cool.
Yeah, and I'm not doing it because of like, oh, my interactions are low. I don't give a fuck, dude. Like,
interactions don't define you as an artist. Like,
no, it doesn't define you. No,
not at all, bro.
Yeah, it's more of a mental thing where you get stuck looking at other people's. You know, it becomes a comparison game almost.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it does actually help with the quality control. You know, and then also just the peace of mind. So you can go in there and actually get the information across to the fans that you need to get across without worrying about you know, not how it's going to be received or how it's going to look, the cosmetics of it, you know. It's not about that.
Nowadays it's really hard when it comes to the numbers due to all the algorithms and whatnot, because honestly 10% of your followers are the only ones that are actually seeing it. So
you'd have to make
to actually gauge your success, like, not saying that's what you were doing or any of us are doing, but I know a lot of people, they gauge their success based off of the amount of interaction that they have.
Yeah, that doesn't.
In my head, I'm just like, all of like people that have like 50, 100,000 followers, it's only getting to like maybe 5,000 people.
Yeah.
So like, when I started realizing that, that's like the likes and stuff were like the main thing that really upset me. But then when I realized it, and I'm sure you realized it, with like hiding the likes, that shit doesn't matter, bro.
Yeah. I mean, but even before that, you know what I mean? Because like, if you really wanted to, you could look, you know. Yeah. And you really like, you could look and see. Exactly. Yeah. But no, I think it's more the realization where you have to come to the self acceptance and conclusion that it does not matter, man. And I feel like we're trained to by this industry to interactions, perception. It's like perception is everything. Social media is all about perception, right?
Exactly.
And social media doesn't tell the story behind what you're going through, you know, unless you're literally explaining it, right? But I'm saying, like, dude, it's what we talked about on last episode, where we gotta play the part, you know. We gotta look like we're having a blast.
Exactly.
You know, we gotta look like we're fucking top notch professional touring artist, and it's like, dude, fuck, man. Like, it's I mean, you get lost in the sauce, bro. Like, if you're touring nonstop, going it, you're not focusing on that, right? Like, let's say Well, I'm pretty sure you've toured. I think out of all three of us, you've toured the most. And I'm pretty sure when you would post something like, let's say, a raw clip or a photo or whatever the case, promoting your music, probably one of the last things on your mind was the post.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
like
dude.
it was probably like, okay, I got a fucking show tomorrow. Yeah. Here's my itinerary. Let's go. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's what we had
just
teams
like,
for.
let's throw this post up, and people see it.
Yeah,
looks cool. You know?
Yeah.
Looks cool, but.
And then you would just see the numbers, and you know how it is. Like if you're touring, and if you're this world goes out of sight, out of mind. But since you're constantly touring and everything, it's like you're relevant. Yeah. So in terms, it's like people see that, and then fucking simple. You start getting more and more traction. Blah blah blah. Anyways, but yeah, no. To conclude, it was that, bro. It was when I would focus on other people's Instagrams, and I know I'm not the only one, and I know there's like artists out there that probably do that, and just please stop. Like it's the moment you start doing that, bro, you're losing. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because the people who care about you are gonna be riding there for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're the ones searching your name on Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud, whatever. They're the ones searching. Like
those are the ones that you want to see your post.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because it's gonna be them that's gonna affect. You know.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's quality supporters over quantity supporters.
Exactly.
Like we talk about this all the time. I'd rather have like 20 people interacting with me every single day, instead of like
a core
20,000 people. It's all about developing that core fan base that actually cares, bro.
Yeah, you might have a guy who has 500,000 followers on some platform, right? But come on, unless you're freaking the second coming of whomever.
Yes, sir.
There's not 500,000 of those people who are the hardcore fans.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
No shot.
I mean, I don't really. I did. This is super random. That just reminded me. I seen this thing on Google, like an article saying, "Fucking that Drake unfollowed Rihanna." Blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, it's an unfollow. And I was just thinking, I'm like, bro,
that's news.
How is that news? I want to get to that level, but I'm just dude, who the fuck cares?
That's my thing, dude. Like. I get it. You're a fan of somebody and but the simplest thing, I've seen people say like, "Oh, so-and-so drank a different soda today." I'm like,
nah. What?
It's really that. It can really be that important to some fans.
No, seriously though. Like it's. I really took a step back and I was like, you know what? Maybe this artist changed this person's life enough for them to really want to care about what's going on in their daily life. And I didn't realize that until recently.
I'm pretty sure we don't see it, us as creators, just in general. We don't understand how deep our art, can it change someone's life.
Facts,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I've definitely gotten those messages, man. I'm pretty sure all you guys have where it's
100%.
like, where dude, it's like your music changed my life, or for whatever reason, got me through depression, got me through this, got me through that. Like,
Yeah.
And shit like that. Yeah, no, and it's man. It's hard to see that from our own shoes.
Yeah.
But it's just like you can only show as much appreciation. I think the best way to do that is just to keep putting out the music.
Exactly.
And if you're gonna let social media and the scene dictate your happiness in like continuing, right, and continuing to create, then it's like, dude, you might really be doing it for the wrong reason, like it's just another form of attention,
Exactly.
that you want. How like they always tell you, oh, don't do this if you're going for the money, or don't do this, don't like do the job we're doing if you just want money in the beginning, or if you want bitches, or whatever the case, like the typical stuff, right? It's another form of that,
exactly, bro.
Because social media is just
it's the worst.
Yeah, man. It really is. It really is.
So, take me back. As far as we can go, the night before Rampage comes out.
Oh, shit.
Tell me about this. Because the next morning you wake up and you're the face on the Mint playlist.
Oh, yeah.
What's going through your head?
The day everything changed.
Dude, the day everything changed, at the time, I was still like, working a 9 to 5, and I get a phone call from the label manager of Heavyweight saying, "Yo, your life's about to change," type of shit. Like literally, that was the phone call.
Wow.
And he's like, "After this weekend, your life's about to change," and I'm like, "What?" I'm like, Rampage comes out tomorrow. There's no I don't know. I never really thought as the song was going to be that much of a hit or a success, right? To change my life. I didn't think so at the time. And it was kind of like the way it was all delivered and orchestrated was like how the release was put out.
Yeah.
Like, to give you guys a perspective, I did not see the music video of Rampage until release date.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It was, it was, the way it was orchestrated was very, like, it was very different, you know what I mean? Because like, obviously if you do music videos with labels and stuff, you got to approve it and blah, blah, blah. But like, the way that Rampage was like released, it was like released with my, you know, like my project. It was the launch of my career, and that weekend just fucking catapulted me to the stars. You know what I mean? Because it was came out on a Thursday, I think. That following morning, I was the cover of Mint, and it was just, dude. I didn't comprehend how big of a deal that was. You know what I mean? Because it's not everyone. Like, obviously, you know, the big people get cycled through that, right? The DJ 100%. Snakes, the Slanders, the Nightmares, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I would have people hit me up and say like, "Yo, you're on like my Spotify." Like, I didn't even look, and you're like the front cover of my Spotify.
Yeah.
And it didn't hit me until after how big of a deal that was, and until what was it? So we left Friday, and then from Friday to Sunday, it was a string of shows that I did with Carnage that really like did literally. How the days progressed, my social media was going crazy. I remember
all of this happening.
Yeah, I went from around 1,500 followers to 15,000 in one weekend, dude. Like, dude. I was just I didn't understand.
Yeah,
but I was just like, fuck, man.
I don't think there's been an artist growth like that. Like, still,
it wasn't in recent times. Yeah, it wasn't.
Well, I don't.
No, not at all.
Yeah, but it was. I don't think there's ever been one where it's orchestrated by one person, which was Carnage, and it was like, it was just like he gave all his willpower.
He knew what he was doing. On that
man, he definitely knew what he was doing. He used all his willpower to put me on a platform, you know, which I'm forever grateful for.
Yeah, for
you know, because like now here we are, right? But
exactly. Bro.
Yeah, no, dude, like insane. It was one of those things where pinch me, bro. Like in that weekend. Yeah. I flew my first PJ, not mine obviously, but I flew in a private jet.
Yeah.
I fucking was on the big stage. We did Spring Awakening, we did Bonnaroo, we did the Avant Gardner with Steve Aoki, like one of the main rooms in Avant Gardner, New York.
It was everything you probably
dreamt of, right? Yeah, man.
Stuff that you watched on YouTube videos.
Yeah, bro, like stuff like. Yeah, man. I was a big fan of fucking Carnage growing up, and I was like, damn. I'm in a Carnage video when Carnage.
You remember all those Yoder videos?
Yeah, exactly. It's like I'm there. You know what I mean? And it was dope. It was definitely a fulfilling weekend, a pivoting moment in my life and my career. You know what I mean?
It's amazing, bro.
But yeah, no, I mean, fuck, dude. But it's crazy. It's crazy how like over the years I've grown and I've progressed. Yeah. And it's like I don't take it for granted, but I wish. I would never change anything. Yeah. Just, you know, certain ways that like I went about how I went to take care of myself physically, to take care of myself, you know, the things, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. Now
you live and you learn.
What's up? Yeah, exactly, man. You live and you learn. Nobody's perfect, but.
So you're going. Rampage comes out.
Yeah.
How much time passes by until they're like, okay, what are we thinking about for the next release?
Okay, well, see, that's where shit gets. I don't know. Shit got weird because like, I released a song. Like we did Rampage. I think a month and a half later, we did Jesse James.
I love that record.
And
so did you know when did the sound sort of start molding, or was that, you know? Because Jesse James, and then what came after that? Kamikaze.
No, Be Wary.
Be Wary. That's
yes,
right.
Be Wary. So we had three. We had a hit record, and then a really good hardstyle record, and then what I thought was gonna be my next Slingshot. I don't know. It didn't hit the same. The way it started getting rolled out made no sense. And it just, you know, it kind of, obviously you're not everything you release is a hit, right?
Oh,
but
100%.
the way it was projecting, it made no sense how it was just not really like hitting how we wanted it to.
Yeah.
Right? And it just kind of like, it started going down because I knew that we had no releases planned after Be Wary.
Yeah.
And we had music, but it was just we were being held back, you know. And it's something that's out of your control, and it's like I was signed to that label, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
You know, and it was just really like frustrating to just like, bro, let me go, like let me do this, you know.
So you got all this music, you know it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
You it's the sound you're curating, right? But it's being held back. What is that making you feel like?
Dude, it sucks only because, you know, it's kind of like when you realize that shit's not all. It's not all like.
It's not perfect.
It's not perfect, bro. It's you know, it's a business. You gotta play the game, you know.
Exactly.
And it's not like you know, people don't want you to release this song. You gotta wait for the right timing, and you know, being like, you know, on the come up and being an underground producer and shit, you kind of just release whenever you want, or you start getting into a flow of things, dude. Like you, perfect example. You release whenever the fuck you want. You make a song
it's
tonight.
So inspiring.
You could
to me,
put
bro.
it out to next week, you know. So like going from that to being put in like in the actual real world music industry at the time.
Yeah,
it was definitely, it started off nice, but then when it's like, okay, wait, what, like, you're not going to put out this song, or you got to wait, this is not good enough, this is blah blah blah, whatever the case may be. And then them giving me like a half a year, if not more, long period of no music being put out.
Yeah,
it's like it was very frustrating. You feel like what is the word? It's incapable of.
Yeah.
You just feel locked down. I think if I switched it up, I don't know if it would have hit the same.
Okay.
I was like the needle in the haystack, bro. Like,
yeah, dude, you came out of nowhere.
The only
bro.
reason that it worked was because of the Carnage power.
DJ Carnage.
You know, that's the only way. Granted, I probably maybe would have gone up slower. I think if Rampage did not come out on Heavyweight, I wouldn't be where I am here today. No, it would be a different story. It could have came out on Never Say Die.
It was honestly a match made in heaven in my eyes.
Yeah,
like,
it could have came out on Premier Class.
Yeah, for sure.
At the time, went to Snake's label or something, you know? Yeah. And it did not, no, it would have not hit the same because Carnage's method was so unique and so different.
Yeah.
And it was just, dude, the stars aligned. Like, that's what it was.
Carnage
not to be
knows
corny.
how to hype it up, though.
Yeah. To this day, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
To this day, he can hype up anything, bro. He can hype up, like, dude, to the extent of a rock, bro, and he'll just make it cool.
Rock.
Yeah, like he'll make it cool, man. And he made Gravedigger cool.
So, how many songs come out before you get stuck on this long period of time where nothing comes out?
Oh, it was 3.
3 tracks.
Yeah, and then
what was the song that finally came out?
It was Kamikaze.
Okay, so
yeah.
Rary then Kamikaze.
Dude, Kamikaze came out in 2000 and February of 2019.
19.
Yeah. And that was the first song after, I want to say, probably like the beginning of summer of 2018. Right. And you know, in the music industry, out of sight, out of mind, you're not putting out music.
Facts.
Yeah. Where'd you go? Yeah. You know?
So
and I wasn't touring as much. It was very slow touring. It was spotted. It was a lot of Carnage associated shows. Like Carnage got me those plays. You know? And it's like, as much as he was putting me on, I felt like at the same time, as much as I was getting gatekeeped and put to the side, I wasn't getting a lot of, you know, the typical looks that everyone does, like the treatment. If you have a hit record in EDM, that in turn it gives you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It was very strange. So I got to do these things like Australia, Carnage. Fucking the Rare, I think we did Rare Orlando in between that time.
Okay.
Carnage, obviously, you know, and it was just a few other shows that management helped me get, but it was just, you know, it wasn't a. I'm not like comparing it to yours, where you were just tour dates, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't the same. I don't know.
Dude,
I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh, so I didn't get that, but
Right,
I feel like there was a lot more value on your project when Rampage dropped. Because for me, a lot of the shows I was taking, like the big like festival looks, like it was literally like pennies to the dollar. Like I was just doing it straight up for the look.
Yeah,
so I can get in front of people, which in my mind was the smartest thing to do because I started touring when I was 18 years old.
Yeah.
17, 18, whatever. And I didn't have any bills, nothing like that. And I wanted the experience. I wanted to get my name in front of people.
Yeah.
Would you have wanted to do it that way so you played more, or you know what I mean?
I probably would have done that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I would have done that for sure.
Did it ever cross your mind during that time, you know, especially there's all the sort of, you can't really call them handouts, but you know, the stuff, okay, Carnage got you this, Carnage got you that. Did you ever look at it and be like, man, what would I be? What can happen without him? You know, because leading up to today, the way things are going now and what happened with the label, where that's sitting at, you know, what does that sort of roadmap look like, or the thoughts in the back of your head, you know? Because I looked at that shit, that whole situation on the outside looking in. You know, you got the heavyweight draft, you got this. I'm like, yo, these guys got this silver platter, just boom, let's go and do this. Now, obviously, there was a price to be paid, as we've seen with how people on that draft and how that whole thing went, and then how the state of affairs is now. But what are the thoughts in the back of your head? What's that sort of process and roadmap leading up to sort of the hiatus that you could say that the label is on now?
It was an up and down roller coaster, stop and go. When it came to the state of the relationship between my team and the label, between the state of my touring aspects, switching agencies and whatnot, and then it finally felt like we had, you know, we planned an album, the 6 Feet Under album.
Yep.
We plan it, and we get it all set up throughout the year of 2019. We release 4 singles, right? And then we announce the album, right? And we get it released at the beginning of 2020, and it finally seems like, dude, this is promising. We got like phase 1 of the tour gets announced.
Yeah, I remember.
And then it's like we got finally good steam, and then COVID. And then COVID, you know, you can't, like, COVID is just for everybody. It fucked up so many plans.
Yeah, it was terrible,
and
man.
you know, and it was really, I guess that really just set the car out of control, where I didn't see it at the time. No, I didn't see it in myself.
Yeah.
And anything like that, but that mentally, I think that really like took a toll. I remember for the first half of when it was lockdown, you know, because it was, dude, like, think about this. Put yourself in my shoes. You spend 3 years working on an album, an LP, and you curate it to where you go through mental and stress and all this shit. You deal with all this bullshit, the back end stuff, and then let alone personal issues. Like, we all have a fucking life, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And you put all this fucking time and effort and money into this, and then for something out of your control to kind of knock it down. And then I knew, since the moment like COVID hit and quarantine happened, dude, like, there's no way I can come back and to current date now where shows are coming back, or they're back, and you say, oh, the 6 Feet Under tour continues. No, bro, the album is 2 years old, almost 2 years old.
Yeah,
it's old news. I'm sorry, and I have to take that L, and I have to sit with that. And I'm not the only one. I'm pretty sure I think there was a few other albums that came out. I can't name them off the top. But it's like, dude, it's something that I have to live with, you know. And it was hard, man, because no one understood, you know what I mean? I try to explain to my manager, you know, like, they try to speak to cheer me on. It's like, oh, just make music, just keep going. I'm like, dog, you don't understand, like, that 6 Feet Under, an album is your baby.
Exactly,
you know,
bro.
coming from and then you tell them, dude, like, you don't get this. You didn't make that shit. And then, no, I get what you mean. This is that. I'm like, bro, you're not. I'm sorry, but you're not a fucking producer. You don't create this music. You know what I mean? Like, the shit that you put into this, you know, is your emotion, right? And we talked about how we project ourselves and what we intake and what we put out. Our feelings are our music, right?
Dude, and there's like, not many producers that understand that.
Yeah,
you know?
and Doug, like, you put it out and it gets shit on, you know? And then it's like all this, all like, you finally think you hit the mountain, you went over it, and you're good. And dude, just a fucking brick wall, you know?
Yeah, exactly, bro.
And
dude,
and like, leading up to that point, you know, you've got
it was feeling good.
It was feeling good, but then also you've got the big man at your back too, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
But then all this stuff happens. What does the big man do?
Backs out.
He goes to make fucking techno.
Tech house.
Now
you
you
talking
can
about the pivot.
Pivot, right?
Yes, the pivot.
The pivot. And now there's
So
a
another
clear
curveball.
difference. There's a clear difference in the Gravedigger era of the big man at your back, and then the Gravedigger era
Post.
where he's nowhere to be found, and now Gravedigger's got to fucking feet extra in the dirt, push forward. What is that? Because you're still signed to the label,
Yes.
Yeah.
but where'd it go? So what's that? What's
Yeah. How do you
how's
deal
that-
with that when something just evaporates? You know?
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's like, it's so weird because, I mean, it feels like, if you want to look at the grand scheme of things, Carnage was always, like you said, the era of the big man be steering the boat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was the guy. Hard music, heavy shit, Carnage.
And this is going
Always
to
been
tie
at the
into the
forefront.
scene,
Yeah,
the state of
yeah.
affairs for the scene
Yes,
too.
yes, of course. Because
Yeah.
it's like you got the man that kind of pushed it for so long.
Yeah.
And then I don't blame him
No,
for
absolutely
leaving.
not, no.
I don't at the end of the day, whatever makes you happy, and it's like he's fucking thriving, and I'm happy for him. You know
Dude,
what I mean?
he's doing amazing.
Yeah, he's doing insane, and I don't blame him for leaving. But it's like, what's the what are the words?
For all the people, for the scene.
Yeah, for the scene, not just for the fans, correct? Because obviously
Yeah.
the fans see it first,
the
and then
producers, too.
Yeah, the producers and the community that he built over the years of producers and artists, and people who he helped, and I think it just kind of like it didn't kill the scene, because we're still here,
it's
Yeah, no.
But I'm saying like, bro, it's kind of like.
it was a big slap in the face, huh?
I want to say it was a mixture of a slap in the face, yes, because it was like, hey man, I'm still here and this boat's sinking. I'm tied down, because I'll go until the end, right? I'm a very loyal person, I owe endless amounts of like homage to that guy. He helped me kickstart my career, and I love like working with him. So like I don't mind it, but it's kind of like when he pivoted and left the hard scene and like that, and I don't really think, from what it seems like, there's a plan on, I guess, in the near future coming back, and I wouldn't. You're doing so well in that genre. I wouldn't either. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But it's like for everybody else,
right? The people who grew up watching those videos,
the
Yoda
and,
video,
and it's not even like for the dwelling in the past stuff, right? Or the reminiscing. No, it's like there are people's livelihoods, there's people's careers that depend on this, and we're still trying to establish,
right? Because
all of us are.
The goal, you're coming into this, you're establishing a sound, you're establishing a brand, you're establishing a movement, and he was a big part of that.
Yes.
From the sound and from the look standpoint, and then when it's gone, everybody is like, okay, how am I going to continue to establish this? Because that plays a big part in setting yourself apart.
Yeah.
From him and everything else that's going on, to stand on your own 2 feet and have this whole thing going, and then just literally you could just watch and see the whole scene just kind of go into this hole for this long time, and it was just, it hurt a little bit. It was like, damn, what are we doing? Because there's been a lot of guys in the industry who had this chance to really not just pioneer and really kind of steer things and take the scene to another level. Because look at the dubstep guys; they all huddle together,
yes.
and this
is
why
very
it's
clicky,
thriving.
Yeah, for sure.
Look at the house guys; they all huddle together, and it's thriving. Then you've got the people over here at the hard dance, American hard dance especially. We can't seem to huddle together and get it going, and that's all it needs.
And that's crazy that you bring that up. Earlier, we were talking about how all three of us are very alike in the mental. And it's been as of recently that we all just, started kicking it with each other and talking every day. And I feel like that's going to really help each of us individually, because your sound is different, my sound's different, but we all have the same mentality. Do you believe like a bunch of artists being in the same genre, sticking together is stronger than what we have? Because honestly, like, this is something that I've always needed.
Oh yeah.
This is what I've always needed.
Yes,
You know? And I feel like us three sticking together, the sky's the limit.
Oh no, yeah. 100%.
And I know as cliche as that sounds, but bro, like,
no, dude, yeah, 150%. I agree, man.
So I mean, it's a blessing. That whole situation, I feel like it's a blessing and it's a curse. You know, I wouldn't even say it's a curse. It's a nice hurdle challenge to come over. You know, because now
it's the ultimate test.
It's the ultimate test, but there's nobody in our way to block it. There's nobody except for, you know, in the hard scene. You know, you could say there's fucking 3 people who you could say, okay, the HardTrap, RawTrap, American stuff. You know.
Yeah.
Say my name, GRAVEDGR, Lit Lords. Give me, there's probably 2 or 3 other people, Junkie Kid,
and the Little Texas.
Yeah, yes. And there's, you know, this is it. This is the people who need to sit here and huddle together and have a game plan and be seen together, be known together, and correlate, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now there's nobody else blocking that path, you know. So now if it fucks up, it's our fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The example can be set correctly.
Yeah, man.
Like for me, I personally feel like I've never fit in with any group. Ever, like in my entire career. So like I've never had that group of people that we could talk about this kind of stuff and be like, let's do this right, let's set shit right. That way the kids that come like after us, they can do things properly and they'll learn from us.
Yeah, I think all 3 of us are in a lane that, like, it's like you know how they say be different, and it's like we don't know the path. What you were saying, the path is the sky's the limit.
Yeah,
it's because we're setting the path, bro. Like, you know,
exactly.
All the underground people that are coming behind us, dude. It's if we stop, there's no one else that's gonna really do it, man.
No, because
you know,
like you said in the last episode, what would you do if you were an upcoming producer?
Nothing.
No shot.
Don't do it.
You know, no shot.
Yeah.
So that inspiration, it starts here and it continues here.
It was definitely scary, you know, a little bit in the beginning, because it's like you lose the captain, you know. Me more, right? You've always been like independent, right?
Yeah, I was always.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, fucking the label disappears, you know, and you're kind of just okay. Have fun, do something while I figure my stuff out. And I'm like, well, shit, thank you, but I mean, fuck, man, like what do I do? Is there a date? No, to be determined.
And then you go and you know, you huddle back and fall back to the people we just mentioned, everybody in the circle, right? But then there's so much ego, there's so much this. Everybody wants to be better than the next guy in some sort of way. Everybody's got some sort of alter plan that's going on that ends with them being on some delusional top.
Yes.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
Yes.
And that's the thing that like Sean was saying is good about us three, because you know it's a good friendly competition.
Yeah.
And to push each other's sound forward. When he comes to me with a track, I'm like, fuck, now I got to go sit down and you know step up to the plate.
Yeah,
exactly.
And
do that. But it pushes it forward. Man. But at the end of the day, if I was down and out and said, hey man, I need so and so, I know this man is gonna sit here and try to figure out how to do it. I know you're gonna sit there and you know, so it's not.
Yeah,
you know, the ego stuff has to go aside.
Yeah, dude. We all fucking started. Well, you've been on the Patreon game and you've been telling me, but now you put us onto it. Like I'm not even gonna cap you. I did it because you.
Yeah, you inspired.
You
the
inspired
hell out of me to
like
do this,
all of us to do it. But you know, in a hypothetical world, you could have been like, nah, I'm not gonna put him onto it. Like, you know.
Yeah, you could have kept it completely secret. You're not gonna get my
Patreon money, bro. Like, you know. No,
you're gonna take all my fans.
Yeah, you're gonna take all my shit. Yeah, no, dude.
I could tell you, it's not only helping us, but it's helping our communities.
Yeah,
because there's tons of kids that want to learn and they look up to us, and we're giving those one-on-one lessons. We're giving that feedback. We're giving that direct interaction with us. Exactly. And that's something that has not necessarily been a thing before COVID.
Yeah, no.
Like everybody like saw everybody on a pedestal and they were like, oh, they're unreachable. But I feel like setting the example, like we're all human.
Yeah.
You're freaking this age, this gender, whatever, you can do it because we all come from place A, place B.
Yeah.
And we're making it happen. You know, like we weren't just handed this.
No.
We worked hard for this and we're able to have these conversations with these kids when we're doing these one-on-ones. And they're like, how did you get here? You could tell them your whole life story and that'll probably inspire them to go further.
Yeah.
Because in their mind, I know when I was first coming up, I was like, this shit's impossible. Like I knew I was like starting to make good music, but I never understood how the industry worked.
Right.
Now we're able to give this direct knowledge, and I would have never thought about doing that unless, you know, inspired us to do this Patreon thing.
Facts,
and,
dude.
You know, and like everybody was saying, you know, when COVID hits, man, the industry, even in like late 2019, everybody kept saying the old guard's going to change. The industry is on a pivoting point, not from just artists, you know, but from the people, fans, and just the way the world is working in general. You know, you've got TikTok that comes out of nowhere. You've got, you know, all sorts of different social platforms. And I think it's cool that everything sort of changed as far as, you know, the pivot and from Carnage and the pivot with COVID and the sort of change that all the people in our scene have to go through, because now we're able to interact with the growing community that you know, people like Carnage or anybody else might not be able to relate to, you know. And Carnage isn't gonna hop on a Discord channel.
No. He's too busy.
You know?
No, he's got other things to do.
So, but that's something that we've kind of grown up with and kind of molded into that wouldn't be so difficult for us to do all the time, right? So we'll be able to interact with the new wave of people in a way that everybody else can't, you know? So it really works out in a good way that way as well.
It does.
You know? And you guys have good things like I'd be stupid to sit here and say, I'm the only person who could do a Patreon. I'm the only person that has something to offer. No, there's things that you guys that you know and you know that I don't know or can't explain as well. There's something that a fan might be able to learn better from you, from both of you, than from me. And plus, everybody has their own lives, and everybody has seen everybody else's struggle in some sort of way with the way the world has been going, right? So. No, I had to put you guys.
Yeah, man.
I kept saying it. I was saying it for a long time. I was like, "Yo, what you guys doing?"
I'm not gonna lie. I was stressing, man.
Yeah,
like
dude.
I've never done anything like that. Like it's just been very one lane, make music, put it out, play shows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I was like, you know me. I'm the guy. I'm fuck your manager, fuck your agent. I'm gonna go do this shit myself.
Yeah.
So I would always like, and I know like, you know, you guys have good relationships with your teams and all
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
That's totally fine, you know. But I always was like, I gotta fucking inch it in your heads a little bit to fucking branch out and fucking take the grasp a different way.
Yeah,
retake our projects because we're the ones that started it. You know.
Yeah, man. Like I tweeted out, I was like, dude, the music artists, take control. It's not like, I'm not saying, oh yeah, your managers are poison or blah blah blah. No, I'm saying, dog, like you have, you know, if you don't do it, no one else is gonna do it for you. And there's so much opportunity to expand your content, you know, especially like I'm not even talking about like the whole Web3 NFTs things that you can do musically. I'm saying like, dude, like you can, if you put in work and shit, you can make shit happen and create other income. Like we're putting a stigma in our head of us music artists that it's like, oh, in electronic dance music, you're the EDM artist only makes money off of touring. Right, we'll take touring out of the equation, which everybody suffered, and we all had to pivot, and the industry did a good job pivoting, right?
Yeah.
But then it's like I felt like over quarantine, right? When it was like the whole live stream environment and all that shit, and it was a lot of good talent was discovered. Yeah, a lot of better music was made. A lot of shit before that was brain dead. Let's be honest, it was just pointless banger music. And that applies to everybody, you know, and every genre. It was just that's a whole other subject. But I'm saying like the point is like it helped and it showed that there could be other avenues of income and something that has always upset me and I thought it was so cap. I'm calling everybody out on it. Yeah, because you guys, there's so many producers that did all this shit, cool fucking live streams, cool live events and whatnot, and it was shown that you could generate money, right? And fucking and then these shows start coming back a little bit, right? And you're not really touring that well, or you're over here touring, and I know because I've heard it in conversations where it's like shows aren't selling well, tickets blah blah blah, like it's there but it's not, and then the same fucking people are touring constantly. So it's like, dude, you guys went to the same, you guys went to the same. Like everybody went back to the same old shit. It did. Yeah. Pivot my ass, dude. Like, dude.
The same people making the same bullshit music.
Bullshit. Like, and that just took a serious turn. But like, no, like it needs to be said because it's like I remember the attitude of the entire scene. It was like, hey man, this is so good for the scene. Like, we're putting on so many of this new talent on these live streams. When shows come back,
where are they now?
They're gonna be put on. When they were doing the drive-in stuff, it was cool. It was decent.
Yeah.
And then boom, oh no, promoters need to like book the people that sell. And I'm like, well, it's clearly not selling, my guy, because I see it. It's clear. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's so cap, bro, because it's back to the same method, the same theory. And it's like, bro, it was pointless, man. It was literally a waste of time.
Exactly.
You know?
They went back to booking the same exact headliners.
Mm-hmm.
But these headliners, for the last however many years they've been headliners, have depended on putting on a show. Their music has not grown at all.
Mm-hmm.
And when the shows got removed, they didn't know what they were doing. They couldn't keep up with making music.
A lot of them disappeared.
Yeah.
And came back when all the shows are getting re-honored.
And it's like, oh, now I'm going to play everybody's new forward-thinking music that they made over the lockdown, over COVID. And I'm still going to collect the bag.
Yeah, bro. Like
it's... You know, it's the craziest.
Yeah, like if there's one thing quarantine showed me, it was don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Facts.
No one can deny that our scene as a whole, and when it comes to live entertainment, the touring and shows, it is so it's not sustainable. You know, you get hit with a pandemic and shit like that. As you can see, we're still struggling. You know, and I use this analogy a lot. I'm pretty sure I've told one of you guys, it's what's worse than no Wi-Fi? Shit Wi-Fi. And that's what we're on right now when it comes to touring.
Fact.
It's literally, literally, that's what it is. I've seen it firsthand, man. Motherfuckers in this industry have their own agendas, bro, and they be executing them silently.
Yeah.
And it's so sketch. But I mean, hey, you know, we all have to play the game, but I'm saying, like, at what cost, man? Like, look what I had to go through just to really reset my mental, you know, and try and come back to this. Fuck, man. It's like, I love it, you know, but I'm in a mindset where I'm worrying about me and my boys, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's it. And whatever comes, man, whatever comes, whether I fucking start touring more again, which I would love to, right, in a perfect world.
100%, man.
Whether I fucking never play a show again in my life, you know, I want to keep creating, because we know, all three of us know that independently, all our music stands for itself. You know, it speaks for itself.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
if you focus on your community, you don't have to play the game.
Yeah.
I give a shit if I go play EDC, Ultra Music Festival, Beyond Wonderland, blah blah blah. I want to be so good where I could just hit up my community and say, hey, I'm playing at the Walmart on such and such street, and motherfuckers show up.
Pack that shit.
I could have somebody stand right in front of my car and say $10. And I can stand on top of my car and blast my sound system, and that's the show.
Exactly.
You know, if you can cultivate your communities, you can understand your communities, you know what they like, you know what they're going to go for, and you can execute on that, and you can take out the middleman, you can take out the end man, you know, so people don't have to go and play this crappy game, you know, because now we're not 18 anymore.
No.
We can't just say, oh, I'm going to go do this, you know. We can't just say, yeah, I'm going to go do that now. We can't just say, I'm going to go play this show now for nothing.
Yeah.
You know, we have to do things that make sense monetary wise and mental wise.
Exactly.
You know, so there's all these other things that we have to do. That's why I'm saying, if you can cultivate the community, we can bring quality over quantity.
Now, me being, and all of us being in the scene and playing the game for a few years, right? Like, Sean and I have played the game. You haven't. And I respect for, because, dude, you're not playing the game.
Don't play the game.
Don't play the game.
What
I'm getting at here is like, to upcoming producers, it's your main focus nowadays should, especially what I just said earlier, touring is not a reliable source of income. If you're just doing it to really be for the main source of touring, to have fun, cool, I get it, let's do it. That's the way we all do it, right? That's in part, that's why we all do it. But like, you got to realize and see that, dude, like, it's not sustainable as it used to be.
Exactly.
You know? And I don't know when it's gonna be. Like, let's be honest, I don't know when it's gonna be.
Bro, like,
You ask any manager, Sean, you ask any agent, they'll tell you it's weird. Shit's not selling right. Shit's weird, this, that.
Once touring becomes the main thing that you sought after, it becomes the only thing you sought after. That's why I grew the most as a musician over the pandemic, because the shows got ripped away. So I was like, damn, I got to prove myself another way, because I proved myself through the music one way, and then, you know, I put out records, blah, 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 this, and I was playing shows. That's how I was sustaining my career.
Music to play shows.
It was music to play shows. Now it's music to...
Music for music.
Music to music.
It all comes back to music.
Yes,
you know?
Exactly.
That's what, when somebody falls in love with you, it's especially for our case, it's because of the music. Then it becomes because of the person.
Yeah,
exactly, man.
After touring went away and quarantine and all that stuff, dude, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that shit affected me big time. That was all I knew.
Yeah, dude.
It was all I knew.
I was sitting there looking at all of y'all like,
you're like,
come on over, fellas.
Yeah,
come on over, fellas.
Yeah. So over quarantine, a big hobby I picked up on was streaming, gaming, trying to go into the gaming route, you know, and analyzing and studying and subscribing to these YouTubers about streaming, how to grow, and it's like, dude, there are some people who have dedicated channels for YouTube Shorts. There's people who have dedicated things for every single avenue, and it's to be able to grow nowadays, the best way, at least in the gaming world, right, which is a form of content,
100%.
It's get your content out to everywhere, dude. Yeah. Like, and there's people that post 3 times a day. I was telling you about it. There's people who post 3 to 4 times a day on TikTok.
That's crazy.
And I'm just like, bro, I have passion, you know, but I don't know about that.
But do you think that we need TikTok now? Do you think it's a needed?
The thing about it is, if we were going to pivot into TikTok, we would be searching to expand the fan base we already have.
Yes. Yeah, it's more like to a mainstream market.
We would look at it like when everybody was, you know, when Instagram first came up. What we did was we gathered all of our fans from one platform, our most popular one, and we said, hey, I have an Instagram. Go over here and follow it here, you know. And on TikTok, a lot of our fan bases around the same age, and then the people who are new, they kind of know where to find us, right? It's not going to work the same way. We can't herd the people up and say we're going over here now, because people are used to where we've been.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
To figure out what kind of content we're going to bring that's going to be different from all the other content we're bringing on the other platforms, to make our fans that we have already go and follow us on TikTok, but then also content that people on TikTok already are going to want to follow us for. You know?
Exactly.
So yeah, it's definitely something we got to figure out.
To close off, I guess, if there's one message that you get out of my story, is if you do this whole music thing, and you know, you have, for example, if you have a similar takeoff to how I did, you pop off in a weekend, a life-changing record, just be, no fucking pun intended, but be wary, because in this scene, you are here one day, and here the next, and that leveling, it can be very toxic to the mental health, and it could really, like, you know, in worst case scenarios, it could lead to really a very bad downward spiral in someone's life, you know. And I'm glad I caught myself before I woke up one day saying, fuck this, I quit, you know. I caught myself in a good spot, and just, man, appreciate everything you have, you know.
For sure.
I really wish I didn't. It's not like I'm taking anything for granted, but I really wish I could have relived those moments again, because it was such a good time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
And I'm not saying that I'm not having a good time, but I'm saying, like, dude, those moments, it was something else, man. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I was younger, and I'm not saying I'm old or anything, but fuck, man, time flies, dude. That
really
was
does.
2018, and it was just like that, bro.
It really does.
It's a fucking blur.
Yeah, bro. Your story has been absolutely insane to watch, bro.
Hell yeah, and it's still going, right?
It's still going.
Hopefully,
I'm not
that dead, right? No, but hey, man, seriously, same to you guys, bro. Like, and this is like, I feel like we all should, the artist to artist relationship should be to inspire. You know what I mean?
That's what it's all about, bro.
You know, we all have our own unique take on everything, on every aspect,
sure.
and it's just like a learning experience. You know what I'm saying?
100%, bro.
Like, dude, we talk about shit like this all the time off podcast, and it's like I feel like we never run out because there's so many takes, so many stories, so many different thoughts and thought processes and ideas that we can share. You know?
Well, this has been the HardHeadz Podcast, episode 2, where we bring real artists into real spaces, talk about real things. I'm Lit Lords.
Gravedigger.
And this is your boy HEKLER.
See you guys next time.
Hard-headed, hard.